So let's start officially. Welcome to all on this presentation. You should be able to unmute yourself. Maybe you can try, Barbara or Lawrence, to see whether it's actually working, and then you can speak to me. Otherwise, if you don't want to speak to me, use the Q&A or the chat window, which I will try to follow as well. So today update season 2 episode 3 of the Stream 1 Ion platform updates. Not too long session today. I don't think we will cover the hour, but some important or some interesting stuff that's coming up. Okay, as usual, the vendors that we are supporting today, and as we all know, upcoming next are Checkpoint and Proofpoint as extra new vendors. Topics of the day is managing your customers out of Microsoft Partner Center, the pack. I see that we get a lot of questions on that, and how it works with GDAP and that kind of stuff. So I'm going to try to give some lights, shed some lights on that one. An announcement for Microsoft done on the 14th on a new term that's coming up, a change in the way Google licenses are sold, and some preparation for the new white label storefront that's coming up in the next couple of weeks, and then the traditional brain shark, the agenda, and Q&A. But as always, if you have a question, do not hesitate to interrupt me, use the Q&A chat, or unmute yourself and talk to me. So let's first have a look at how to manage your customers out of the Partner Center, the pack as we call it, abbreviated for Microsoft customers. So traditionally, what we see is that a lot of you and your colleagues are using this way of working. So everyone has an account, or there is one global account per customer at the customer tenants. You or your colleagues log in with that account, and they can do whatever management needs to be done. Simple, it works fine. So no sweat on that level. The risk here is that we see that the credentials are often shared via an XLS sheet or in a password vault, but can be exported if needed. So the question is, what if someone leaves the company? You don't really have control of who has which passwords with or with her when they leave the company. And also, this is not the way Microsoft intended to manage customers out of the Partner Center environment. Basically, that is what Microsoft had in mind. So everyone has an own account on the Partner Center. So on your tenant, either your Office tenant or the special created CSP tenant. So everyone has their own private user account, not private, but user account, logs onto Partner Center, and from there accesses the customers using the GDAP rights to go into the customer's environment. I'll come back to the actual GDAP later, how it's set up and how it works. But basically, that's the way Microsoft intended to manage the customers on the Microsoft tenants. So connect to Partner Center, and then from Partner Center, hop on to the customer's environment. Every user has his own account on your tenant, so that's clear. If someone leaves the company, just disable that account, and you will not be able to access any of your customers anymore. We do, and it's best practice for Microsoft, advise to create on the tenant itself for the customers a break the glass account, just in case of, you never know, like MFA is not working, or something very important, or the account was hacked and you still need access. You can always have a break the glass account, and I put the URL on how to create it and why it's for on the screen. If you start using this way of working, you can also start implementing Lighthouse. Lighthouse that enables you to use one single console and do multiple or do actions on multiple customers in one go. So you have statistics on multiple customers, also take some actions on multiple customers in one go. For instance, configurations on MFA or something like that. Go into the console in Lighthouse, click, select your customers and say apply, and it will be applied on all the customers in one go. There's one prerequisite, that is your customers need to have a business premium license or higher on their tenant to be able to use the Lighthouse administration. Okay. As said, we need GDAP to be able to use the way Microsoft wants us to manage the customers. Before we had DAP, delegate admin privileges, we gave us a lot of privileges on the customers, which they didn't always want it. And from a security point of view, it is understandable that they don't say, hey, everyone here just has access and can do whatever they want. So in comes general delegated admin privileges, which gives you access the way the customer allows you to have access on a want, a yes or no scenario. You can have different ones per customer. Customer A might allow you to see everything or manage everything. Other customers might say, no, you only have access to read my environment or to only manage my exchange and nothing else. So you can really differ per customer what you want or what the customer allows you as rights. And you can also make differences per employee. A junior employee might not need the same rights on a customer's tenant than a senior employee, a senior engineer. So basically have all that structured in the GDAP environments. They are created and managed in the partner center. You can do it also via an API. Via the partner center, you have the interface. It's per customer, so you open the customer like I did here with my demo customers DB7, and then you have the admin relationships where you can create one or multiple GDAPs. Normally, one GDAP should be sufficient. Yes, so this is a demo account, so we have multiple, but you should be able to run with one GDAP per customer and define everything within that GDAP relationship. What if you have multiple GDAPs in place, or users is having multiple accesses? It will be a combined right. So not the least access right, but a combined access right. So if you have global reader and you have user admin, if you are in both GDAPs, you will get global reader and user admin in the same way. So to lock or to minimize the access rights, creating multiple GDAPs is not the way to go. Keys, keep it simple. Yeah. One should be sufficient. Don't start creating, as we see here, 5, 6, 7 different GDAPs. Create one and define everything in that one GDAP environment. How do you prepare? Well, on your tenant, so on your environment, on your home environment, create security groups. For instance, level 1 help desk, level 2 sales support, whatever you want to have as a group. Assign users to the correct security groups. So if you have a junior, put them in level 1. If you're a senior, put them in level 2. If someone more in the sales role, put them on the sales support. So create the groups the way you want to do it. At SYNNEX, we have about 8 or 9 security groups defined for the GDAP's environment. And also the naming, and give it a name that says something. At SYNNEX is all called GDAP something for the group name. Assign user to the correct security group. Just also remember, being a owner of a group does not make you a member. So if you're only an owner, you will not get the rights. You need to be a member as well in the group to get the rights defined by the group. And again, keep it simple. We have 8 or 9 roles. You don't need 8 or 9 GDAPs in place. And then you define the rights per security group. That's paperwork. Which level needs what kind of rights? If you're in multiple groups, you will get a combined right, as we saw with multiple GDAPs. So it's always a combination. It's not the least privileged that will get through to the system. So this is a paperwork to list all the rights you want per security group, and we need a full list to access the or to create the GDAP itself. So how do you create it? You go to the pack customers, as we saw before. So administration relationships, you request a new relationship and you fill in the fields. So the name must be unique. For instance, put the date and the timestamp in there, so it's always a unique value. The duration, which is maximum 730 days, so 2 years. The intra roles, so these are the roles that you want at your customer's environment. So when you did your paperwork, so you listed all the rights that you need to select them all in here. I need Exchange admin, and I need global reader, and I want to have privileged admin, privileged user management, whatever you need, you select all the roles in this at this moment in this frame. And then you can make it auto extended, not when you want global admin rights, then you cannot do an auto extend, but otherwise, once it's past the 700 days or the full duration, it will be extended automatically by 6 months every time by 6 months until the flag is set to auto extend no. And then you will do end the term, and then the GDAP will stop. You can also at any moment keep the GDAP, and the customer can at any moment remove the rights out of GDAP if they want to. Okay. So when you did that, you filled everything out, you go to the next page, you get this nice screen where you can say, look, this is the URL that needs to be accepted by the customer's global admin to be able to start using the GDAP itself. If it's not accepted, then it will not be, you will not be able to use it. So you need to send out this URL to the global admin. If you have the global admin account yourself, obviously you can do it yourself, but normally it's someone at the customer using his global admin account, follow these links, says accept, and then 2, 3, 4 minutes later, the grid GDAP is actually also active. So the customer global admin accepts the request, and then you assign the roles, the groups, the proper rights in the GDAP. So remember, the paperwork you've done, you listed for every security group what they want. So once it is accepted, you add the security groups into the GDAP, and you define per group what of the asked permissions will be assigned to that group. So you add the security groups, select security groups that you want, and then assign the role per security group. And that's where you distinguish a junior from a senior, or a salesperson, or whatever you have, is by afterwards. So when the customer accepted the GDAP, then you can assign roles to it using the security groups and the correct roles that you have asked. You cannot add extra roles here. You can only select roles that has been asked and accepted by the customer in the GDAP relationship. Okay. So GDAP, Entra ID, and RBAC, because I also get a lot of questions and there's a lot of confusion of this one. So the Entra ID glossary is your global directory where every user, groups, roles, whatever you have is defined on your Microsoft 365 tenant. It's roles to define what the user can do on the Entra ID environment. Yeah. So your Entra ID roles do not give you any rights to be used on an Azure subscription. It's pure within the Entra ID glossary. It's not into Azure subscriptions. Again, if you have multiple roles, you get a combined access, as we saw before. RBAC, role-based access control. This gives you access to the Azure subscription, not to Entra ID glossary. So you have basically, if you want to have a full access, you need to be and global admin Entra ID and owner on the subscription to be able to manage those as well. And that's where a lot of confusion is. Entra ID global admin does not give you any right whatsoever on an Azure subscription. You need to have an RBAC role on that level as well. What is required to be able to give an RBAC role, you need to have Entra ID reader role, so you can select customers to give access on your Azure subscriptions. I know this is confusion, and I know this is really something that is rarely or strangely created by Microsoft. Entra ID, pure Entra ID, RBAC, pure Azure. And to be able to give RBACs, you need to have an ID reader role, Entra ID reader role, to select the users, which is then the only way to do that. Okay. So when you have a GDAP in place, when you access the customer's environment, a foreign security principle is used. So you don't see your entry. If I log on to a customer, you won't see Eric de Bondt has do something. You will see our security principle has done something, which is then picking back on the GDAP, giving me rights in the environment. Yeah? So it's basically a kind of special kind of user, which is available as long as the GDAP relationship is active. Can be removed, the foreign security principle, but just remember, when you remove the security principle of the customer removes you or us, the price of the Azure subscription will go up. The fact that we are having rights on the Azure subscription, we get a reduction from Microsoft, which we gratefully hand over to you as well. But if we are removed out of the RBAC roles on the Azure subscription, we will not get a reduction from Microsoft, and obviously we will invoice the full amount as we have to pay it. Yeah? So keep that in mind. If your customer say, I don't want the SYNNEX on my Azure subscription, fine, but there will be a price increase of approximately 10 to 15%. It's an important notice I forgot to put on the slide, I see. So GDAP to use Entra ID roles, not RBAC roles. Again, the fact that you use a GDAP, you get access to the Entra ID. If you need RBAC roles, they need to be defined separately out of GDAP. You cannot do that from the back center. When you create a new subscription in Stream1 Ion, so created by TD SYNNEX, automatically our foreign principal will be an owner of that subscription, allowing us to create other or you in Stream1 Ion if GDAP is in place, because there you have again the link between the two of them. So our RBAC role of owner defined with the GDAP that is in place, giving us Entra ID reading rights, allows you in Stream1 Ion to assign owners on a Azure subscription. And once you have created an owner, you can go in as that owner and then change other things or give other rights to other users if you would like to. The only thing you can assign in Stream1 Ion is owner on a subscription. You cannot, like a reader or a contributor. That needs to be done afterwards in the Azure admin portal itself. Okay. Also, Entra ID in the Partner Center, it's not because you are a global admin on your tenant that you have access rights on Partner Center to manage your customers. For that, you need to have a security group in your environment called admin agents with a major A's with an S in the end. So actually is written on the screen. You need to have that group with users added in that group, and they will be able to see the customers tile an application in Partner Center. If you're not a member of that group, you will not be able to manage your customers out of Partner Center. Yeah, so that's also something important that we see that, oh, I don't see my customers. Well, most probably 95% of the cases because the admin agents group doesn't exist, or the user is not a member of that group. And also here, it's not because you're the owner of that group that gives you access. You need to be a member of that group to actually have the access that you would like. Okay. Questions, remarks? Let me check the Q&A. Again, you should be able to unmute yourself. And post your questions that way. No, I don't see any. Okay. Now, an announcement that Microsoft did last week on the 14th. So very fresh announcement. There's a term licensing terms that exist and that will change on April the 1st, 2026. So it will be a new term. This is preview. So if Microsoft tomorrow changes ideas, please forgive me. This is what is today on the announcement. So it's a new term. It's extended services term, allowing you obviously only on the NCE seat-based license, so Exchange Online, E5, Business Premium, whatever you have. So the new term, it's a monthly term with monthly billing. Yeah, but it's fully flexible. So you can stop it at any moment. You can run it for 2 days, you can run it for 4 days, you can run it for 4 months. But if today says, okay, we don't need it, you can stop it immediately, and you will have prorated credit on that subscription, the way we used to work before NCA was in place. So cancel whatever, it will be billed for a month, but you will be credited the pro rata if you stop it midterm, that license. It's always a monthly billing. You cannot have that in a yearly billing, but you can stop it at any moment you want. Will be available as of April the 1st, 2026. Then you can start purchasing the ESTs, also in ST1i and for your customers. Okay, pricing. What will it cost to have full flexibility? Well, if we take the yearly term with the yearly payment as a base, so 120 euros per year, giving you 10 euros per month for that license. In a P3Y, so the 3-year terms, is exactly the same. As we all know, in the yearly term monthly payment, you get a 5% premium, so the price goes up a bit. In the monthly term with monthly payments, so non-flexible, you have a 20% premium. For the EST, so a monthly term with a flexible environment, you get a 23% premium. So there is a price to have the flexibility, but it will exist, so it can have some advantages in some cases. For instance, if you compare here the P1M, so the monthly term with the monthly billing with the ESTs, as you will see, if you use the license less than 28 days, basically the EST will become more interesting. So you have like a weekend peak that you want to cover, add the license on Friday, you stop the license on Monday, paying 3 or 4 days, and you're set. Obviously, it will lower the cost for your customers. For an Exchange Online, I know the cost is relatively low, but if you have high-end users with E5s and stuff like that, then you might consider using the EST licensing for a shorter period of time. Like, in fact, if you use it 27 days, the EST will be less expensive or even better sales than the full monthly term. But there is impact on renewals. Yeah, so as of the 1st of April, 2026, there will be no more grace period when the renewal is set to off. And so today, if you set the renewal to off and you forget to put it on, your customers can use the licenses for 30 to 90 days even on a yearly term or a 3-year term, and 7 days on a monthly term. That will go away. So today, that's for free. You can use it. And obviously, people abused it. So maybe let's get rid of it. As of the 1st of April, no grace period. Automatically, if the renewal is off, you go to EST. You will go to the license with 23% price increase. When? If your license is bought after April the 1st, 2025, and it's renewed after April the 1st, 2026. So if you bought in March this year a 3-year SKU, you will not have this rule. So when it comes to an end in 2028, after 3 years, you will still go into grace period at that moment because you bought it before the 1st of April 2025. Obviously, when the auto renewal is off. There will be a new renewal setting which is moved to EST. We don't know exactly how it will look like. It will be available as of January 19th. As announced today, again, if Microsoft changes this, please forgive me. But there will be a new end term option that's not only off or on, but also move to EST. Basically meaning you continue the work, and the off at that moment should go to like cancel at renewal. So really saying, if you don't go to EST, cancel today, not be usable anymore tomorrow. I wanted to give you this information soon, early, so you can start thinking about how you're gonna treat this. You can need to discuss this. We will come back to this in January when we have more information, maybe in December already, when we have actual more information. Actually, prices will be available as of February in the preview price list. So the actual prices will only be at the 1st of April, but normally the preview price list gives us a very good idea. But again, this is coming. Be prepared for it. Make sure that if you have something called off today, yes, if you have renewal off, automatically it will go to EST if you don't do anything at all before the 1st of April, yeah? Or before the renewal date. Keep that in mind. Something you put as renewal off today, yes, when it is renewed after the 1st of April and bought after the 1st of April 2025, you will go to EST with the 20% premium. Questions, remarks? Okay. Next topic. As we all know, there is more than one vendor on the platform. So the small update for the GWS, the Google Workspace. Basically, before it was a rather cumbersome experience in the sense that you put a SKU in the basket or in the cart. Then you go to the cart itself, you start configuration, and I need to do everything in the side pane. So select the existing or new tenant, configure a product, select a plan. Everything needs to be done at that moment in the small side pane on your screen. Coming, and that is being tested as we speak, and the echoes are very good, so it will go live in a couple of days. For those who do Google today, no, the domain will be verified before you start working with the card. That's basically also how we're going to do it in a couple of weeks with Microsoft between brackets. So you first create the user, you first define the customer, and you first define the tenant that it needs to work on if it's a new customer. Then you select the plan with term and add it to the cart. And then in the cart, you do the finalized product configuration, like adding the PO numbers, doing alignment, whatever is possible in GWS. You do that then at that moment. So having a more stepped approach of purchasing in GWS, not as before, you have basically one step and you do everything, all that works be done in that one step. Also, an advantage here is that as the tenant verification is done before you start the purchase process, you are not bound to have the first purchase to be only one item. You can do at the first purchase whatever you want to do as a number of combinations of licenses you want to purchase. So that's an extra advantage. Okay, still don't see questions. Then the white label front store. There it is coming. Should be end of November, but I want to give you some information to prepare yourself. Yeah. So the white label storefront allows you to let your customers do things themselves. It's not often used today. Why? Because today it's one size fits all. Yes, you can say, I don't want my customers to purchase, but it's all can purchase or none can purchase. You can customize it, it's very limited. Like change your colors and then say, I want to open the marketplace or not. Basically, that's grosso modo what you can customize. So can say purchase or not. It's always all available products and selected customers in the sense that yes, you can select the customers by giving them an account and giving them a password, and then they can start using the white label storefront. Works fine on that level. Those who use it today, they are happy. I don't say they are thrilled with it, but they are happy that it works. It sends you emails when customers do something. So there is follow-up, there is follow-through, but it is limited. So what is coming, and that's why you can start preparing yourself, is basically allowing you to work with groups of customers. And saying those group of customers where you put down customer A, B, and C, they can purchase. Yes, but the other group, X, Y, Z, they cannot purchase, they can go through lifecycle management. And maybe a group KLM, they can only, they cannot do anything at all, just see the reports. So you basically define per customer what you want to do using those grouping. Again, keep it simple. Don't create 55 groups. Create 3 or 4 they want to do. So define what can be done, and also define what products can be done. If you say like, yeah, well, you know, for my risk, I don't want customers to start purchasing the yearly terms with monthly payments, because if they go bankrupt, I get the invoice still. So you can say, I don't want to sell those or let the customers purchase those licenses themselves. Or saying, I don't want them to purchase something very expensive or no dynamics. Or yes, I have the AFPoint catalog available, but I don't want customers to buy it themselves. Whatever you want. Basically, go really into the environment and say, for this group, they can only purchase that type of licenses. You can also have multiple storefronts, where you say, for this group, you have X options, you have this color set, or whatever you want to have. For another group, might look completely different. You can even make it personalized to a customer level, make group it one customer, and you can assign that. So really going into a much more appealing environment for your customers, but also appealing for you, because you can now really pinpoint and say, that customer, we trust them, full access, that customer only lifecycle management, that customer can purchase but only the B plans, so business premium, business basic, business standard, and apps for business, whatever you have. So really going into that environment, something you need to think about up front. Work this out before you start implementing, because first implementing will not keep it kiss. But something you will need to think about, something that makes your life much easier, because your customer will do the work and you can invoice them for it. Okay. No questions, no remarks. Okay. As usual, don't forget our brain shark. So if you want trainings, again, the list is long and is being extended almost weekly, where you have more trainings available for you to go in and follow those small trainings. As I said, it's almost every week new modules are added for you to see how the platform is actually working. But if you still have questions, don't hesitate. We're here to help you. Upcoming events and trainings or webinars. Okay. So there is the event at Cloud Adoption Framework. When you get the PDF, you can click on the links and you go immediately to the correct page to enroll yourself. You also have the full catalog when you click on the events that the SYNNEX Discover or latest, whatever it says. There you can have the full list. I filtered it on Microsoft. So 2 events. So in-person events is the 27th of November. The Microsoft Cloud Adoption Framework Seminar, and on the 11th of December, the Well-Architected Framework Seminar. So basically going into those 2 topics. Webinars, November the 4th, Unlocking the Full Potential of Microsoft Copilot. November 24th, the next session of this update. Normally should go into the white label storefront and the new buying experience. December 2nd, Azure Arc and Azure Cost Management. Interesting if you are working with Azure, or if you want to go to work with Azure, to basically learn how to use the cost management, because we get a lot of questions on pricing, which is not clear. But because pricing in Azure, as we all know, is it's not complicated. It's just there is a lot. There's a lot to take in account. And you need, with Azure Cost Management, you will get a much better view on what actually the cost will be, or cross a model the cost will be. Tuesday, the 4th of December, Microsoft Defender for Cloud webinar. The 9th of December, your other customer workshops, so how to enable those ones. And on the 15th will be the last session, normally the next or the December version of the platform update. I know it's not the last Monday of the month, as it is not, this week was not, next week is a school holiday in Flanders. So that's why we do it today. And also in December with the Christmas period, we opted to go to the 15th of December and for the last one this year. But go and have a look at the event calendar. We are planning new extra updates. Only it will be normally 2 different sessions. One focused on a new white label storefront, how it looks, how it's used, how it works, and one on the manage your customers tenant and the new buy flow due to the Microsoft MCA rules that are being implemented. You will not be able to sign the MCA anymore in by proxy in StreamOn Ion. That's Microsoft deciding to use another way, and it needs to be the customer that accepts the MCA, not you or us anymore by proxy. And also important, if it's not signed, you will be able to buy. That's also Microsoft rules stating as of January, basically, if the MCA is not signed or not actively signed, meaning after the 1st of April 2025, you will not be able to purchase new stuff. You will not be able to manage the customer's licenses anymore. So beware of that. And that's why we needed to adapt StreamOn Ion for this new ruling. And that's why there will be a new purchasing flow and a new way of managing the customer's tenants also for Microsoft. Announced beginning December to have this available in live. Okay. Questions, remarks? Again, use the Q&A or the chat or unmute yourself. That should be possible. If no questions arise, meaning that I was or crystal clear or not clear at all. Okay, thank you very much. So for now, I'm going to give you back a big 15 minutes. Next session should be more stuffed with actual demos and stuff like that, because we would have previews of the white label storefront available, and most probably also of the new purchasing flow management of the Microsoft tenants. Thank you very much for being here. Again, questions, remarks, hyperscale.be@synnec.com. And our next session is November 23rd, same day, same time, so Monday at 13 hours. Okay. Thank you very, very much. Have a good day. Don't hesitate to contact us.